Yo, YouTube! Bloody Nora, has it really been that long since I last did a Transformers review? When was the last one I did anyway? Was it before the new year? I believe it was. Jesus, that's pretty appalling, really. So, I'm gonna get back on track with this video. I'm gonna stop focusing on the morose and the annoying, bigoted, prejudiced elements that are at large here on YouTube. For the time being, I will be getting back to them eventually, simply because I find them so much fun. But for now, I have some lovely toys to focus on. Simply lovely toys. And since I'm earning a wee bit more money now, 3 fucking jobs I'm working at the moment, not counting my writing and all of that stuff. I will be getting a shit ton of new plastic very, very soon. I'm still waiting, actually, for a what is it? Is it Generations, or is it Reveal the Shield, or whatever? Whatever that line calls itself at the moment. It really doesn't matter, because I'm sure it will be changing within the next couple of months to something else. Whatever that line is, the version of Lugnut that comes from it, I'm currently awaiting his pleasure, and my god, does he look pleasurable. Oh my goodness, he looks utterly beautiful. You know what excites me about him the most? This is a little bizarre and slightly fetishistic, but I like his knees. I think that Classics Universe, Henkai United Generations, whatever the Reveal the Shield, whatever the fuck he is, Lugnut has really sexy knees. He's got sexy everything. His arms are sexy, his hands are sexy, his big cyclopean head with its moving jaw is sexy, but his knees are fantastic. They have this lovely little transformation whereby you have to sort of pull the knee joint out and then lock it back up in order to form the knee joint. Anyway, I'm sure you'll see it when I get round to reviewing it. Until then, I've got 2 other equally lovely bits of plastic to review, and I'll be starting off with this guy. Yes, you've seen this mold before on this channel. This is Classics Henkai United Generations, whatever the fuck it's called, Skullgrin. Now, Skullgrin is... I was really surprised when I heard they were doing anything featuring this character at all. He is one of the most obscure of obscure Generation 1 Transformers. He was originally one of the first wave of Pretenders from 1980... I believe they're from 1987, 1988. One of the upright ones, a Decepticon warrior that came in this big skeletal monster Pretender shell. The inner robot was a pile of shit, like all the Pretenders were. Lanky, loose, didn't really transform into anything, just folded up into a chunk of Cybertronian nothing. The Pretender shell was very cool though, very distinct, very interesting. Like all the Pretenders didn't really look like a Transformer. What they've done is taken the Classics Henkai United Generations Reveal the Shield, Straxus, aka Darkmount mold, and recolored it. But it's not only a recolor, no, they've actually bothered to resculpt the head as well, which is fine by me. I know that a lot of people really have a thing about repaints in the Transformers lines. I don't mind them as long as they fit the character, as I've said before. And actually, this one does. Like Straxus, it could do with being 1,000,000 times bigger. Skullgrin is supposed to be... well, he's kind of a cool character. He was very poorly characterized in the original Marvel comics, where because he was big and bestial, he was characterized as a fucking idiot. This version of him and the original toy bio painted him as almost as a sufferer from, well, dissociative personality disorder, which is the modern term for multiple personality disorder. I know, Ray, you would be giving it a heavy finger right now, but basically Skullgrin is a tactician. He's quite a high-ranking Decepticon, very intelligent, very cold, calculating, monstrously powerful, awesomely powerful, capable of incredible devastation. But when he gets into the thick of battle, something comes over him, he becomes a raging, unthinking behemoth and just tramples everything underfoot, gouts fire everywhere, and basically leaves a trail of devastation in his wake. He's a lovely, lovely Decepticon in that regard. He's, and as a result, he's kind of reluctant to partake in actual combat. I rather like that. He's a conflicted Decepticon, and conflicted bad guys are always fun. But anyway, there he is. In this form, he is no different from Straxus, aka Darkmount, barring the colours. Actually, the colours are the colours of the original Skullgrin's Pretender shell, rather than its inner robot. And they work rather splendidly, I'm sure you'll agree. He features everything that Straxus does, including this fucking obscene anti-aircraft cannon, and all of these little detachable jiggery-pokery bits and pieces that you can actually attach to various toys from the classic Senkai United Generations Reveal the Shield line. In fact, what I want Hasbro to do is to release just a little blister pack with loads of these things in, or different options for these so you can fix them to different Transformers. I want to get just one Transformer and fix all of them to it, so it's just like a walking battery of weapons. I like that idea. But anyway, there you go. That is Skullgrin in his half-track mode. It's quite lovely, and it fits the character fairly well. As repaints go, not bad. Not bad at all. Now, as you probably remember from the Straxus review, this guy's transformation it's involved. Let's put it that way. It's not too bad, actually. It's not so horrendous. It's not sort of Revenge of the Fallen line horrendous. It's not movie line Mixmaster horrendous. And before anyone asks, no, I will never, never review that toy. No. I would have to be nearly suicidal to review that toy. I would have to be in the most masochistic state of mind imaginable, simply because it is so fucking hideous. I really have nothing but contempt for that toy. Really, what Transformer is worth sitting there for an hour or more, even with the fucking instructions to transform it? This guy is very, very different. Like all of the classic Senkai United Generations Reveal the Shield line, the transformation is complex, involved, but intuitive and kind of elegant. So yeah, I don't mind that so much. You can sit there and figure it out without the instructions, which I did, with a minimum of effort, which is all I really ask from the plastic as a Transformers fan. I particularly like him when he's in this state. I mean, fucking look at that. Can you even see the robot mode in there? Oh, almost accidental head reveal there. We don't want that. The money shot. Got to save that for last, ladies and gentlemen, because the resculpted Skullgrin head on this chappie, well, just wait till you see it. That was one of the things I loved, actually, about this mould in its original incarnation as Straxus. The head, more than anything else, was so iconically Straxus, and it's exactly the same with this guy. The head of this guy, well, it looks so much like the original Skullgrin's Pretender head. It's quite gorgeous. Oh, while I'm here, by the way, ladies and gents, I would like to extend a very cordial and very gentlemanly welcome back to Ray, I Love Mess, one of my favourites here on YouTube, and a very, very, very good friend of mine indeed, who recently made his comeback to YouTube. If you don't know Ray, I Love Mess, and you like Transformers reviews, seriously, go and check out his channel, because his reviews are always entertaining. They're always incredible fun. Well, this is one element of this mould that I really like. The cannon from the half-track mould folds out and becomes this rather brutal-looking pickaxe. I like that. There's something about Transformers, Decepticons in particular, that are armed with melee weapons, that have, like, swords and axes and bludgeoning implements, things like that. I really like that. I think it's the silliness of it that appeals to me. I mean, you've got these big, sentient, hyper-advanced super weapons of death and destruction. Things that, like, make the hydrogen bomb look paltry. And they carry around swords and knives and axes and things. It's gloriously silly, and I love it. I love it. A good, healthy dose of silliness never hurt anyone. But, anywho, there he is, ladies and gents. There is Skullgrin in his absolutely brilliant robot mode. It's no different from Straxus's robot mode, apart from that fantastic head sculpt. Hang on, let me get that into better focus for you. There we are. That's much more like it. Look at him, ladies and gentlemen. One thing I really appreciate about this toy is that they've designed it so that the vehicle's colour scheme is significantly different from the robot's colour scheme. The vehicle is dominated by this sort of matte grey that's very militaristic and quite real looking, whereas the robot is all this glorious black and magenta stuff. Look at that head. It's actually, the head is reminiscent of the original Skullgrin's Pretender shell, which was this big horned bovine skull demon thingy. And his head is no different whatsoever. He looks demonic. He doesn't really look that Transformer-like, and I rather appreciate that. He's unique, and the fact that the character is so obscure. I love the fact they've gone for him. Quite the oddity there from Hasbro, and I hope they keep it up. I would love to see more of these obscure characters, even if they are just going to make them into repaints and remolds. That's fucking fine by me. Just keep them coming. I would love to see a Weird Wolf, or a Horrible, or a Fangry, or a Squeeze Play, or any of those characters that nobody knows who the fuck they are. Also, more of the comic-specific characters like Straxus, Emirate Zaron. That would be great to see him. Crosscut, Macabre. Fantastic, I'd love to see these guys in toy form at long last. Anyway, moving swiftly along, because I'm aware of the fact that I'm rambling like a demented person during the course of this review. It's because I haven't done one for a long time. The concision is gone. Now this guy is nowhere near as obscure as Skullgrin. This guy is one of the iconic characters fleshed out by Simon Furman's stories in the original Transformers comics. The toy was pretty obscure. It was just one of the more complicated pretenders from the original, from the arse end of the original G1 line. This is Classics United Generations, Classics, what was it? Classics Henkai United Generations Reveal the Shield, Thunderwing. Thunderwing, ladies and gentlemen. Say it again with me. Thunderwing. Thunderwing is one of those iconic characters that everybody loves. He is a bad guy par excellence. In the original G1 comics, he actually was Decepticon leader on Cybertron for a very, very, very long time, and an incredibly competent one as well. He ranks sort of alongside the likes of Scorponok in that he was a sane and considered and calculating Decepticon commander rather than a brute, a tyrant, or an absolute maniac. He had these really odd qualities as well. He was characterized by this odd mystical bent. He was one of the very rare Decepticons who had an affinity with the Matrix, the Autobot creation Matrix. He could actually sense it and manipulate it, and in the original G1 series he actually did find it and took it for himself. Unfortunately, by that point it was hideously corrupted and became this sort of unholy, mystical force of destruction that possessed him and eventually ended up in him being destroyed, which is a bit of a shame. I like Thunderwing a lot. He was also in the recent IDW comics, in which he was a scientist who came up with that universe's version of the Pretender technology, which is very, 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 very different. They call it polydermal grafting, or some science fiction, Star Trek, gobbledygook, techno-babble bullshit like that. Anyway, what it involves is Transformers bonding with some sort of synthetic sentient outer skin that is supposed to enhance their capabilities. Unfortunately, it drives them completely fucking insane, as it did with Thunderwing, who became this harbinger of apocalypse as a result and ended up utterly decimating Cybertron and making it uninhabitable. Even to Transformers, it's uninhabitable because of Thunderwing's rampages. This toy is odd in that it's a kind of fusion of how Thunderwing appeared in the IDW comics and how he appeared in the original G1 comics. It bears some resemblance to his original toy, but like most of the G1 toys, because it was so sort of blocky and straight and not very dynamic, a lot of creative license was taken with the way he was portrayed in the comics. This is his vehicle. You know, when I first saw this, I didn't like it. When I first saw the pictures of it online, I really didn't like it. I thought it looked clumsy and too rounded and like a Fisher-Price toy. You have to get it in hand. It's so often the way with Transformers, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, that you have to get the damn things in hand before you realise how good they are. And it's definitely the case with this chap. This is him in jet mode, and like all of the classic Senkai United Generations and Reveal the Shield line toys, its major issue is with scale. Thunderwing should be huge. He's a big guy. He's a Decepticon leader, for Christ's sake. He should be massive. Instead, he's a deluxe size, which is fine because he's a very competent toy, but he shouldn't be. He should at least be the size of Lugnut. But oh well, I don't really mind because the toy is of such high quality. It does suffer with this. Yeah, that's a real Generation 1 problem, isn't it? That is robot slung under the jet issue, which is not something we should be having in this day and age, I'm afraid. I mean, look at this. There are the robot arms, very, 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 very clearly. They don't go anywhere. They just sit there. I don't mind it that much because I can't help but feel, given the quality of the jet formers that we've had thus far in the Classic Senkai United Generations Reveal the Shield line, that is deliberate. Because, you know, the original Thunderwing's Pretender shell transformed in almost exactly the same way as this guy. It obviously wasn't as complicated as this, but there are definite references to it. And the arm configuration is exactly the same. And I can't help but feel that may be a deliberate reference, or maybe I'm giving too much credit to the designers. Who knows? He has a couple of gimmicks in this mode as well. You see that little thing at the front there? If you bring down his landing gear, that pops out. And it becomes this little thing. It's like a little scout droid jet thing that he uses to scan the surfaces of planets before he comes down and obliterates them. Rather nice, and again, that is a homage to the original toy. The original Thunderwing, its Pretender shell transformed into a big jet, and the inner robot, which was fucking shit, transformed into a smaller jet-like bit of plastic that attached to the front, like that. Very cool, very lovely little reference to the original toy. I like him a lot in this mode. These things do fire as well, but I'm going to disable those like I did with all the firing mechanisms on my Transformers because I don't like firing missiles. Anyway, there is Thunderwing in his jet mode. It's nice, it's very competent. It doesn't really stand up to some of the other jets that are in the Classic Senkai United Generations Reveal the Shield line, but that's okay. This guy you definitely buy for the bot mode, which is spectacular. Get rid of these things. as you can see, unlike Skullgrin, this guy's transformation is simplicity itself. All you do is crack open the back, crack open the bottom half here, like so. Now, I thought when I got him that it was going to be incredibly simple, that it's simply going to be a case of folding that back, pulling down the legs, and that's it, it'd be done. No, actually, he is a little bit more involved than you'd imagine. If you grasp his groin section here and pull it up, his legs fold out on this double hinge like that, and then you close the torso over it. Isn't that just a little bit sexy? Am I the only person who's turned on a little bit by that? I like that sort of thing in my TS. You know, the little transformations that make you go, ooh, that's rather clever. There are a couple of video reviews of Classic Senkai United Generations Reveal the Shield Scourge, and his arm transformation is one of those transformations. It's so sexy because it hasn't been done before. It's wonderful, and I cannot wait to get my hands on him, ladies and gentlemen. I really, really can't. Now, the rest, well, you can see it. I don't need to explain it. He is not complicated. And the money shot there is Thunderwing's rather... Oh, God, look at the light piping in that. That is rather sexy, isn't it? Let me get him into a proper pose, because, ladies and gentlemen, this guy really deserves it. The bot mode is something special. It really is lovely. It's so reminiscent of the way Thunderwing looked in the original G1 comics, but with some one or two added details. He is just beautiful. There he is. Classics Henkai United Generations Reveal the Shield Thunderwing, and his robot mode is almost a direct translation of the way he was drawn in the original Marvel comics. He looks so beautiful, and I love the face sculpt in particular. He has certain sort of like Japanese mythological warrior stylings. His face looks like that of an Oni, which is a traditional Japanese spirit that is associated with bad luck and negativity and general destruction, which is rather fitting, really. He is absolutely beautiful. His range of posability is incredible. He's got wrist joints, ladies and gentlemen. Wrist joints. He's got elbow joints. He's got double shoulder joints. He is absolutely superb. Also, his guns, you can either have him holding both like that, or you can take one and affix it to the bottom of the other, like so. Get in there, you bastard. Get in! And you have this double hyper super mega weapon of absolute apocalypse, which is the official term for it, ladies and gentlemen. Or rather, it is now. Isn't that just... I love that kind of overkill on Transformers. I like bots that are huge. I like bots that have huge weapons. I like bots that have clever, witty little transformations. This guy scores on almost all those points. Size is the only thing that lets him down. Hasbro, Voyager class, please. Voyager class. If not leader class, please, for the love of God. Anyway, there is Classic Senkai United Generations and Reveal the Shield Thunderwing. A character... if you are a character man like me, then you must own him, because Thunderwing is just one of those characters. He's slightly more obscure than the likes of Megatron, Galvatron, etc., but he's very, very significant to the Transformers mythos, and I love him. I think he is spectacular. This is one of the best... This is the best rendition of the character thus far. The original toy is fine for its era. It's definitely one of the better Pretenders, but it's still a little bit shit. Go out and get it. And also, this chappie, Skullgrin, love him too. Absolutely love him. Even if you have Straxus, aka Darkmount, this guy is well worth picking up. There are little things they've done with the mold. They've just, I don't know whether it's just mine, but they've tightened the joints and made it just a little bit more durable, and the plastic's good, and the face sculpt is good, and the weapons are good, and everything's good. It just needs to be a little bit bigger.